The tale opens in a shadowy train station. He lingered with hands shoved in his coat pockets, gaze drifting across the scattered passengers as he studied the well-known surroundings. Then, like countless times previously, she appeared once more, that same young woman, perched wordlessly on a chilled metal seat, strands of violet-streaked hair veiling one side of her face. As usual, her focus remained glued to the device clutched in her palm, oblivious to his presence yet again. Under his breath, he remarked on their repeated encounters in this exact location before settling onto a bench several paces distant. Minutes passed before he tugged out his own phone, though his eyes kept stealing glances toward her. The case resting beside her caught his attention. A musician? Part an ensemble? He speculated silently. She noticed his gaze this time, and he quickly turned away, flustered. Internally, he cursed himself for staring and drawing attention. Great. I must have looked like a total creep. Though they'd encountered each other multiple times, it seemed like he was the only one aware of it. Stuff like this, it's just coincidence, not fate. But across the bench, she smirked, clearly catching him in the act. Trying to shake off the awkward moment, he slipped on his headphones and started some music. Studying was no longer an option, not after what just happened. He played Dark Planet by Long Afternoon, a song he'd loved for ages and got lost in it again. Such a good song, he thought, but barely anyone knows it. Will be nice to talk about it with someone. Then something fell off. The sound was muffled. Did these cheap earphones break already? Should I turn it up? He increased the volume, only to hear a soft voice right beside his ear. Excuse me. Startled, he looked up and saw her standing there. Could you turn down the volume? I can't hear it from over there, she said calmly. His heart sank as realization hit. His Bluetooth hadn't connected, and the music had been playing out loud. She sighed, looked at his phone, then asked, "Do you like that song?" He stammered a response. Yeah. To his surprise, she smiled. It's from Long Afternoon. I like that one too. For a second, he was speechless, and then a surge of excitement washed over him. He couldn't believe someone else actually knew the song. Really? I'm a huge fan. This is amazing. I've never met anyone who knows that track. She glanced to the side as he continued, saying that the artist was amazing but not well known since he was indie. She nodded in agreement. Yeah, he doesn't really fit the current trend. Doesn't promote himself. Doesn't engage with fans. He added that if the artist did concerts or posted more content, he'd probably go viral. But all he shared were drawings of his character, Musican, on Instagram. If he showed his face or shared more of his life, he'd definitely gain a bigger audience, he said. After a pause, she asked him, "Do you think he should reveal his face?" He replied instantly, not necessarily. His response took her by surprise. He elaborated that it was better this way. The artist focused solely on his work. The air of mystery actually enhanced the experience. He liked that Long Afternoon stayed low profile and pure. She tilted her head down slightly and smirked. We've run into each other here a few times, haven't we? She said. He froze for a moment, confused and nervous. I'm not sure, he lied, inwardly hoping she wouldn't connect the dots, that he had noticed her every time. She simply replied, is that so? As they walked toward the platform and the train arrived, she turned her head and added, I thought you already knew. After all, you're always staring at me, right? With a playful look in her eyes, she looked right at him. His heart nearly stopped. Panic surged through him. She had known all along, and they'd been riding the same last train repeatedly. He screamed in horror. The scene changed. He was now behind the counter at his part-time job, pacing in a frenzy and muttering, I'm doomed. A girl hurried over to him. What's going on? Did someone pull a surprise raid or something? In a panic, he shouted, Boss, what do I do? What if she thinks I'm some creep? A stalker. She blinked, clearly confused. Stalker? What are you talking about all of a sudden? Later, after hearing the full story, she waved it off casually. You're overthinking it. It just means she noticed you too. Still unsettled, he explained that he was worried he'd scared the girl or made her uncomfortable. His boss assured him that if the girl had really been creeped out, she would have stopped coming to that station long ago. If you're that bothered, just go talk to her properly next time, she suggested. Then you'll actually know how she feels. She grinned, adding with a teasing sparkle, "Who knows? Maybe you're about to start a romance." He frowned in disbelief. "That's ridiculous." "Why?" she challenged. "You're obviously aware of her." He sighed. "Yeah, I am aware. But the feelings you're hinting at? I don't have time for that kind of thing. I'm graduating next year, preparing for job hunting, and I've got night shifts just to cover rent." The protagonist admits, "I've just noticed that girl because I see her so often. I keep wondering, why does she stay out late? What does she even do?" His boss smirks and teases. "Isn't that how these things always begin?" Flushing crimson, he denies her playful accusations, insisting, "I'd be happy just being friends, someone to talk to about the music we both love." She grins and quips sarcastically, "Sure, sure. That's how it starts." Next thing you know, you'll ask her to Netflix and chill. Mortified, he stammers a denial. She tosses him a receipt, urging him to focus on their pending order. Later, heading to the subway, he agonizes. Will she catch the last train again tonight? If I see her, I'll apologize for staring earlier. Clear the air so she doesn't think I'm weird. And maybe, just maybe, we could finally talk about long afternoon. It's rare to meet someone who loves them too. He clenches his fist, hoping she feels the same. At the station, he spots a man slumped and snoring on his bench. Annoyance flickers. Now he can't casually sit near her and strike up a conversation. She notices him hovering awkwardly, pretending to read. Forcing it would backfire, he thinks. Better leave it for today. Suddenly, she calls out, "You're really just going to stand there?" He freezes. "The train's not here yet," she adds, patting the space beside her. Her jacket slid slightly off one shoulder as she gestures. "Seat, unless you enjoy looming." Blushing, he perches at a cautious distance. To break the tension, she asks, "Late shift again? You always take this train." "I work evenings at the cafe," he explains. "Boss lets me off early sometimes." "Part-time job? So you're still in uni?" "Fourth year," he nods. "Job hunting and late shifts? Rough life," she sympathizes. When he tentatively asks if she's heading home from work, she smirks. "Nah, I just enjoy the company of men with quirky tastes before catching the train." He flinched, unnerved by her unexpected response. Leaning back, she casually propped her chin on her palm and added, I hang around folks with intense, niche tastes. I handle those kinds of clients before clocking out." Her choice of words, intense, niche, jolted him. His mind raced with lurid visions, her clad in leather, brandishing a whip, yanking him by a collar, indulging in every taboo act imaginable. As his imagination spiraled, she caught his horrified expression and smirked. Stretching lazily, she clarified, "I'm talking about a music studio, practice rooms, recording booths." She explained that corporate drones moonlighting as musicians often book sessions late. As the manager, she worked overnight shifts, leaving at dawn. His face burned. For a heartbeat, he genuinely believed she sold services. Sensing his turmoil, she teased, "What did you think I meant? Something dirty, right? Just because I said intense." He stammered a denial, cheeks crimson. "She's toying with me," he realized. "She's steering this whole chat. I must look like a total pushover." Shifting gears, she eyed him. "How'd you even discover long afternoon? Between work and school, you don't strike me as someone with time to scour indie deep cuts." Rubbing his neck, he admitted, "I wasn't searching, it kind of just happened." He recounted a time he'd been bedridden with a fever, utterly alone. The crushing silence drove him to randomly stream music online. That's how he found Dense Planet by Long Afternoon. At first, it was just the melody, he said. But the lyrics hooked me, that raw screw-it-all energy. Especially the line, "Let it be." Her expression flickered briefly at the quote. When he asked her favorite track, given the artist's sparse catalog, she glanced away, flustered. Dense Planet and Tidal Flow's solid too. His eyes lit up. Tidal Flow's genius. That post-chorus tempo drop? She raised her hand near her mouth, blushing fiercely but nodding in agreement. Just then, the subway speakers crackled to life, announcing the arrival of the next train. They prepared to board, but before stepping on, She spoke again, this time without looking at him. What you said earlier about the line, let it be. If Long Afternoon heard that, he'd be really happy. As he stood, a blush spread across his face. He found himself wishing the conversation could last longer. It's not even about her being pretty. I just want to keep talking about the things we both love. Summoning his courage, he introduced himself. I'm Leon. What's your name? She looked at him with a subtle, seductive expression. Shin Hae-in, she said. And since I told you my name, if we ever meet again, make sure you say hi first. If you don't, I'll ignore you forever. Delighted by her response, he smiled. See you next time. Later, in Hane's apartment, she stepped out of the bathroom and began drying her hair. Sitting on the bed, she gently wiped her face and found her thoughts drifting to Leon. She recalled a past moment on the train. A drunken man had dropped his wallet onto the floor. She'd noticed, but hesitated, unsure whether to intervene. But then, Leon had quietly picked it up and placed it gently into the man's coat pocket. He could have just left it or moved it nearby, she thought. But instead, he made sure it was safe, even if it looked suspicious. So naive, but so kind. Back in the present, she lay on her bed, her body partially visible to the viewer. Her thoughts lingered on Leon. I knew he was kind, but I didn't expect him to be such a devoted fan of Long Afternoon. He's passionate. She blushed and buried her face into the pillow. Why is this guy making me feel this way? Am I seriously this down bad? Would he even like me if he knew I was Long Afternoon? A flashback hit her. Some girls, delinquents, were laughing and typing hateful comments on their phones, trying to ruin someone's life. Whether they were mocking Hae-in or someone else wasn't clear. But the memory was painful. She blinked back to reality and sat up straight. Why am I thinking about this? It's so annoying. She hugged her knees to her chest and said softly, people who like Long Afternoon, they like the music, not me. There's no need to reveal I'm the one behind it. As long as I keep making music, that's enough. She closed her eyes. I'm fine being just Shin Hae-in. That's all I need, as long as I can keep doing what I love. The next day at her studio, Hae-in held a stylus in her hand, gazing at her tablet. Should I post a drawing like this on Insta next? Her thoughts were interrupted by a group of band members exiting the hallway. She asked, "You're checking out?" "Yeah." One replied. One of the guys turned back and asked shyly, "By the way, could I reserve the same time slot for next Monday?" She nodded. "Sure, you can." The same guy then hesitated before blurting, could I get your number? Or maybe your Insta ID? I've been wanting to message you for a while." There was a pause. Hae-in bowed politely and replied, "Sorry." The guy turned away, mortified. His friend laughed and shouted, "Told you it wouldn't work, dumbass." Watching them disappear down the hallway, she grabbed a spray bottle and muttered, "Time to clean up." A little while later, a man with a tied-up bun hairstyle walked into the room, expression unreadable. "You're early," Hae-in greeted him. "The practice was simple today, so I left early," he replied. This was Shin Hae-in's uncle, Sun Hae-in, a 38-year-old sound engineer. For convenience, let's call him Aaron Yerger. With a mischievous glint in his eye, Aaron smirked and asked, "So, why'd you shut that guy down earlier?"